Hi there, my name's Helen. I'm a dietitian and I'm a diet and lifestyle coach. So I primarily help women, in particularly mothers, to stop dieting forever and to find peace with their bodies and with food, and hopefully transfer these messages onto their children. So in this video, I wanted to share with you my disgust that I felt when I attempted to read a seemingly innocent book to my 2-year-old daughter. Now this book is titled When Sammy Met Sally, and it tries to portray a healthy eating messages to children. But when I got about halfway through, I had to put it down and say this is absolutely inappropriate, definitely for my child and definitely for preschool age children. So to give you a bit of an idea, it's quite a nicely arranged book, so you can start from either end, Sally's story or Sammy's story. And Sammy's story, he basically goes through his morning finding his food through the trash or through the rubbish. So he finds pieces of old bread, pieces of old burger and old bits of battered fish. And now the story goes on to say that this way of living made Sammy fatter, not fitter. And then when you start on the other end of the story, the other side of the book, you get Sally's story. And Sally, she spends her morning going around eating juicy carrots and juicy apples and acorns. And she is portrayed as this fit and healthy squirrel. And then they both meet in the middle. So what happens to poor Sammy is he one day gets stuck in his doorway because he's gotten so fat that he can't fit out his door. And then Sally comes across poor Sammy stuck in the doorway and basically tries to change his ways. And they meet each other and they like each other, and Sammy says, would you like to go for lunch? I'll take you to the rubbish dump. Sally says, oh no, I don't eat there. Why don't you come for lunch with me and we'll climb the trees and we'll eat the lovely acorns and we'll eat juicy carrots and vegetables, and this will be a really happy way to be. So Sammy goes along with this anyway, and he gets fitter, not fatter, from this diet, which all seems fairly innocent, but there's a couple of issues I have. Sammy, the poor thing, has this diet and he eats these foods and he gets fatter. The thing with showing a child a bigger body, there's lots of different reasons why someone is in a bigger body than another person. And we know this could be due to genetics, it could be due to medication, it could be due to disease conditions. It doesn't necessarily mean that that person has eaten food from the rubbish dump. But that's the idea that a child of this age is going to pick up. So what if that child is in a larger body? Are they going to blame themselves for getting that way? Even though, they're 3 or 4 years old. They're may just going to be in that size of a body, and that's completely normal and healthy for them. And then on the other side, if your child is in a thinner body, and they read this book, their understanding might be that another child who is larger got that way because they ate rubbish food, which again, like I said, probably isn't the case. And that leads us on to another point then. What 3 or 4-year-old really has the choice as to what they eat? Do they pick the food that goes in the trolley? Do they cook the meals? Do they choose what goes into their lunchbox? No. That is definitely not a child's responsibility. That is the adult's responsibility. So if you want to produce a healthy eating book, it needs to be directed at parents, not children. Children have no idea what it means to be healthy. Definitely not appropriate for preschool age children, and definitely not appropriate until they're a lot older and they can actually understand some of the concepts to do with being healthy, and that food provides us with energy and protein to help our bodies recover and to grow. So what should we be teaching our children about food? At this age, sort of 2, 3, 4-year-olds, when they're starting to develop their understanding and their communication skills, we can teach them where food comes from. Does food come from the ground, or does it come from a tree? Does it come from an animal? Does a chicken lay an egg? These are things that a child can start to understand. You can teach your child colours using food. Your child can learn to become aware of different foods and comfortable around different foods, and be used to working with foods and getting feel for the textures and the smells and what food preparation is involved with meal times. These are all things that we should be teaching our child from a young age and getting them involved with. The healthy eating concept is definitely not appropriate for this age range. The choosing what food goes onto the table is the parent's responsibility. Another point that I might point out to you, so a parent picks this book up and they're aware that fresh fruits and vegetables, I mean, most of us know that those foods are best for ourselves and our children. But what if that parent simply is struggling to put a meal on the table of any kind? And then we're being told, but we can't be giving them burgers, or we can't be giving them the cheap foods because it's bad for them and it's going to make them fatter. How's that going to make a mother feel? Instead of pushing healthy eating messages, perhaps we should be making fresh fruits and vegetables more accessible to everyone in society. What should we be teaching children in this kind of book? Well, so what kind of publication should we actually be making? Well, I suggest that we make some kind of book like this. It's a lovely designed book and it has a lovely cute idea that you start from the back or the front and follow different stories. Why don't we teach children that bodies do come in lots of different shapes and sizes and learn to accept that? And why don't we try teach children to help everyone join in on an activity and not to leave anyone out? How do we teach children to have this accepting and this loving attitude towards each other? Instead of putting barriers between each other and saying that one person is fatter because of what they do, because of what they eat, even though that child isn't responsible in the slightest for what goes in their mouth. A child should not be able to be going to take into a McDonald's store by their loving parents and say, I don't want to eat the burger because it's going to make me fat. I'm going to choose my little apple sticks instead. It's never going to happen, and it's not going to lead to a healthier child. Now, this book has been produced by Safe Food, who I'm sure have good intentions by producing a book like this. I have emailed them and sent them a letter detailing the points that I've just told you. So I hope that they get back to me on this, and I hope that they can modify their future publications and stop trying to push healthy messages onto young children, because it's just not appropriate. Thank you for watching my ranty video, and I hope to see you again in a future video.